Asha, it's such a pleasure to talk to you after a long time.
Thank you, Mateen.
Last time we met, you were running .edu Ventures.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure things have evolved so much and you are doing a lot of good things. So I
Yes.
thought, what better time than now to come and talk to you and ask you, how you have been spending your time.
Venture capital is still my bread and butter. What I do is 80% of my time, my work time, goes into venture investing. And within venture investing, most of my investments are happening in the Bay Area. A small percentage, maybe about 20%, is happening in the developing world, which is India, the Indian subcontinent, and in Africa. And so that's in venture capital. The second path I'm following, just new path, which is I've been doing this for about 5 years now, is more social impact work, more philanthropic work, where the returns are not necessarily as short term as venture capital, but it's kind of like patient capital, as they say in the social impact world. And in that, I'm trying to to activate some kind of a maker space, maker network around the world, around the developing world, by doing maker festivals and by installing fab labs. Fab labs are basically, it's an entity that came out of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, a few years ago, and there are hundreds and thousands of those in most of the world now. Some of them I've started deploying in our part of the world, in South Asia, and the first one that I deployed was in Ahmedabad, which is at the CEP University. And what it does is it's a set of about 25 to 30 machines with software and hardware. People have to take a course, a certification, it's about 6 months certification called Fab Academy. What it allows you to do is actually it allows you to transform your imagination into products. So it's not just a prototyping thing, but it's also a tinkering environment, which allows you to really problem solve, and to do this in a way in which all the tools are at your fingertips. And as time goes by, the Fab Lab is getting more and more sophisticated. So even those who are not technically savvy can still use these, this equipment to prototype for problem solving. And personally, philosophically, I feel that if young entrepreneurs had solid roots in their local community, then they would be sort of just, I think, more stable entrepreneurs. So they can still be global, but if they do local problem solving, then this is something that I think would have really a good ROI. Maker festivals are something that are an event once a year or sometimes twice a year, where we invite makers from all over the country. So for example, in India, we've had maker festivals for 5 years now. We invite makers from all over the country to come and showcase their inventions. And it is really just a platform for celebrating inventions. Then they network and they stay connected to the global maker movement for the long haul. What comes out of it at the end is really, it's up to them. We just facilitate this platform by giving them the opportunity to bring together their devices, their inventions. It could even be learning systems. It doesn't have to be necessarily devices. And then they network with the right kind of people and plug into the global maker community. Those who we pick out of the makers, who are the top 10 to 20 makers, we bring to Silicon Valley, and they present at Maker Fair in California. And I think that gives them another huge boost on where they're going to take their product next.
It's a very good point you hit on. And I was fortunate enough to be at one of those fairs, about 2 years back when you invited me. Wonderful young entrepreneurs, both from India and Pakistan at the time. So I think innovation and entrepreneurship is region and religion agnostic.
Yes, yes.
As long as you can give them, the right set of tools, they just need empowerment, I think.
Correct, yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So now it's a flat world. Innovation
Right.
can happen in any part of the world.
Yes.
And access to Silicon Valley is where, they need help. And
True.
you're providing that. So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about, how you go about picking these individuals, and what do you see the yearning in these young entrepreneurs, whether it's India, Silicon Valley, or Pakistan, doesn't really matter. But I feel that the excitement and the energy is pretty much the same. It's palpable.
Yes, very much so. I actually have a pretty solid team now in India, and a budding young team in Pakistan also now, and actually one team coming up in Lagos in Nigeria. What these teams do is actually they are the ones who are really looking, calling, sort of sending out an RFP for makers from around the country. They are the ones who are really doing the first pass at filtering out who are the makers that they think we should be celebrating at the Maker Fest. But once they shortlist a bunch of people, I typically handpick the entrepreneurs that I think are going to have a huge impact locally, and who are going to accelerate greatly if they came to the Bay Area, to the Maker Festival here. So that's the way in which I'm picking the entrepreneurs. I try to keep the gender ratio similar, kind of 50-50 if I can. These days we're almost close to that, because we see more and more young girls coming into technology and not getting bored or fearing technology. They are actually doing stuff using hardware and software. So the way we pick them is really just in my own understanding of their capacity to make a difference. That's the main criterion. And the second thing you were asking is about the energy, right? Oh my goodness, these kids are rearing to go. They know they are going to change the world. They know they are going to change their community, their local ecosystem, and in growing circles, And they have pride in what they are doing. They have, whatever little meager resources they have, they are able to put together things that, I'm blown away by how much they are doing with so little, So it's an excellent time, and I think for this activity, I'm just blessed that I have a chance to work with these people,
So Asha, finally then, the good thing about being in Silicon Valley is, you are comfortable in your own zone, you have a lot of connectivity, and people who have accomplished things here are always looking for avenues and opportunities to give back.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing this through these avenues you just shared with me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you get back when you are trying to give back to all these youngsters?
Mm-hmm. So I think in the activity, in this certain stage of life in your career, right, when you get to that point where you feel like, look, if I could, do these activities back home, then it will make an impact in the lives of these young people. When you think of that, you normally go in with this assumption that you are actually giving. But I feel now that I've been in this business of, kind of social impact work for about 5 years now, I feel that it's not this one-way giving. I think it is also, the giving of the entrepreneurs to us, actually, that they are enriching our lives, they are giving us a mission to do things that is fulfilling us, and that's actually giving us purpose in life. So I feel that this is a very reciprocal arrangement that we have, and I'm blessed to be able to do this. So it's hopefully it's a win-win for everybody,
Well, it's very, very comforting to hear that, and wishing all the very best in your endeavors.
Thank you.
Like always, a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mateen. Thank you.